neutral fats because they do not have any charge over them. Whatever the fat stores are there in the body, they are mostly in the form of what? They are mostly in the form of triglycerides. Now, these triglycerides, they are the esters of fatty acid with alcohol and glycerol. And one of the best example of this triglyceride, it is tripalmitin. As they are uncharged, they are termed as what? They are termed as the neutral fat. Now, what are the, you can say, the fat we eat that are mostly the triglycerides. A fat in the liquid state, it is called as what? It is called as oil. So, whatever the oil we use at home, it is a what? It is a neutral fat. And as it is in the liquid state, it will be called as oil. For example, vegetable oils like mustard oil, corn oil, groundnut oil, etc. Now these triglycerides, the name itself suggests, they are consisting of what? 3 fatty acids. Okay? And these 3 fatty acids, they are esterified through their carboxyl groups, resulting in a loss of what? Negative charge. And so there is a formation of a neutral fat. Now the nomenclature of the carbon atoms to the triglycerides, the carbon atoms of the glycerol, they are designated as what? Alpha, beta and alpha 1, or carbon atom number 1, 2 and 3. Nomenclature of the carbon atoms. The carbon atoms of glycerol, they are designated as what? Alpha, beta and alpha 1, or 1, 2, 3 and side chain of the fatty acid. Alpha is carbon atom number 1, beta is carbon atom number 2 and alpha 1, it is the carbon atom number 3. Now the enzymes that will digest the triglycerides, they can recognize or they can distinguish between the first and third carbon atoms. Okay. So coming to the what? Further, the mixed triglycerides. Now the mix, the name itself suggests that naturally occurring oils and fats, they are the mixtures of triglycerides. Now if all the 3 hydroxyl group of a glycerol, they are esterified to a same fatty acid, a simple triglyceride it will be formed. Okay. So if all the 3 you can say glycerol, hydroxyl group of the glycerol, it will get esterified to the same fatty acid, it will be a simple triglyceride. And what is the example? Triolene, tripalmitin. Now what will be the mixed triglyceride? A mixed triglyceride, it is formed when different fatty acids, they are esterified to the hydroxyl group of a glycerol. Means in the simple triglyceride, the glycerol, it will get esterified to the what? To the same fatty acid. And in the mixed triglyceride, the fatty acids, they will be different. So esterification, it will be with the different fatty acids. Okay. Now a mixed triglyceride, it will be formed when the fatty acids, they are esterified to the hydroxyl group of the different this hydroxyl group of a glycerol, it will get esterified with the different fatty acid. When PUFA, means polyunsaturated fatty acid, it is present, it is commonly esterified to the second or beta carbon atom. Okay. So it was about the triglycerides. Certain properties of these triglycerides, they are hydrophobic and insoluble in water. So one of the, you can say, specific characteristic of the lipids, they are insoluble in water. In the same way, the triglycerides, they will be hydrophobic and that's why they will be insoluble in water. Now oils, they are liquid at the 20 degrees Celsius. They are the triglycerides which contain a higher proportion of unsaturated fatty acid. Unsaturated fatty acids means those fatty acids which are consisting of the double bond, and the saturated fatty acids means those fatty acids which are not consisting of a double bond. Now the short chain triglycerides, or you can say the the oils, they are generally of a what? Of a plant origin. Okay, so oils, they are what? They are of a plant origin. Now fats are what? Fats are solid at the room temperature and contain mainly the saturated long chain fatty acids, whereas the oils, they are of vegetable origin, whereas the fats, they are mainly of what? Of the animal origin. Now storage of energy as a fat. The triglycerides, they are the storage form of lipids in the adipose tissue. We know adipose tissue, it is the storehouse of the fats, and these fats, they are mainly stored in the form of what? In the form of triglycerides. When stored as a triacylglycerol, water molecules, they are repaired and space requirement, it is minimal. So excess of fat, that will lead to the one of the, you can say, major health problem, that is the obesity. Now coming to the what? Hydrolysis of the triglyceride. When we will study the digestion of a lipid and the absorption of a lipid, we will come to know the enzymes that will digest the lipids. Those enzymes, they are called as what? Lipolytic enzymes or lipases. Okay, so triacylglycerol means the hydrolysis of a triglyceride, it will occur in the body during the digestion of a dietary fat and mobilization of a triglyceride from adipose tissue. These triglycerides, they are hydrolyzed in the body by the enzymes that are called as lipases. Right from the, you can say, the salivary lipase, then the gastric lipase and the pancreatic lipase, that will digest the triglycerides. And when digestion or breaking up of a triglyceride, if it takes place, the triglycerides, they will what? They will sequentially hydrolyze to diacylglycerol and monoacylglycerol and finally glycerol plus 3 fatty acids. So when triglycerides, they will get digested by the action of the enzyme lipases, they will get split into what? The diacylglycerol to monoacylglycerol and the 3 different fatty acids or the same kind of a fatty acid. So that will be the digestion of a what? Of the triglyceride. Now there is one specific property of the lipids or of the, you can say, oils or fats, etc. That is the rancidity of the fat. Okay. Suppose for example, so many times we suppose some vapors or some sort of a fried things, they have been kept for a longer time, for 15 days or for 1 month. When we open that, there is an unpleasant smell to that, you can say, that fried thing. So that unpleasant odor or that unpleasant smell, it is due to the property of the fats, that is the rancidity of the fats. Okay, and these fats and oils, they have a tendency to become what? Rancid. The term rancidity refers to the what? The appearance of unpleasant smell and taste for fats and oils. The polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are more easily oxidized to vegetable oils with a high content of a PUFA. And generally the PUFA, that is the polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are usually preserved with the addition of what? With the addition of the antioxidants. Because the fatty acids or the fats, they will get easily oxidized. So there will be addition of antioxidants for their preservation. Now waxes, it is also one of the type of a what? In the simple lipids, I have told that the fats and waxes. So waxes are what? There are the biological waxes. They are what? The esters of long chain saturated fatty acid with long chain alcohols. And their melting points, they are higher than the triglycerides. Okay. Now the waxes, they carry out several functions. Okay. And several functions in nature related to their water repellent properties and their consistency. Certain glands of skin, they secrete waxes to protect the hair and the skin, to keep them pliable, to the, you can say, lubricated and waterproof. All of us, we are well aware of the, you can say, ear wax. Okay. So these waxes, they are what? They will be water repellent, they will protect, they will secrete, you can say, variety of applications are there. They are used in the cosmetic industry, they are used in the pharmaceutical industries. Lanolin, it is a bee wax, and you can say the carbanobar wax, etc. They are obtained from hot wells and they are widely used in the manufacturing of what? Lotions, ointments and polishes. Okay, so this was about what? The triglycerides. Okay, so triglycerides, again small revision it will be there, that they are what? They are the neutral fats. And why they are neutral fats? Because they are what? Uncharged. There is a repelment of the charge, it has been removed, and that's they are the also called as the neutral fats. So we have classified the lipids into simple lipids, compound lipids and the derived lipids. Okay. Now simple lipids again into fats and waxes, the compound lipids into different types. They are consisting of what? Some additional group it is present and nitrogenous base it is present. So phospholipids, again phospholipids we have classified them into lecithin, cephalin, sphingomyelin. Okay. Then the glycolipids again subclassified into cerebrosides and gangliosides. Sulfolipid, aminolipid, lipoprotein, etc. Okay. Now coming to the what? The derived lipids. Okay. The term itself suggests that the derived lipids means they are derived from what? The simple lipids and the compound lipids. They are the hydrolytic products of what? They are the hydrolytic products of the simple and the compound lipids. So they will include the fatty acids, then the cholesterol, steroids, etc. Okay. So the derived lipids, they will be obtained from what? The hydrolysis of a simple and compound lipids. They will include the fatty acids, glycerol, steroids, etc. Now coming to the what? The fatty acids. The fatty acids, they will be obtained from what? Hydrolysis of a fat. And the aliphatic carboxylic acids. Okay, they are what? They are the aliphatic carboxylic acid. Their general formula, it will be RC double bond OH. Where carboxylic group, it is the functional group. Now these fatty acids, they are subclassified into two. One is saturated fatty acid, another is what? Unsaturated fatty acid. Okay, what are the saturated fatty acids? They have no double bond. So if there is no presence of a double bond, those fatty acids, they will be called as saturated fatty acids. And what are the examples of saturated fatty acids? Propionic acid, butyric acid, stearic acid. Now from the health point of view, what is most, you can say, the fat which is not you can say of a good quality or that is not good for the health, that is the trans fat or the saturated fats. We should not consume the saturated fats in more amount. There should be a very minimum quantity of a saturated fat. It should be consumed. The second type of a fatty acid, they are the unsaturated fatty acids. And these unsaturated fatty acids, the name itself suggests they are consisting of what? Double bonds. Now depending upon the number of double bonds, they are again subclassified into what? Monounsaturated fatty acids and polyunsaturated fatty acids. Okay. What are the monounsaturated fatty acids? The fatty acids which are consisting of only one double bond. These are the monounsaturated fatty acids. What are the examples? Palmitoleic acid and oleic acid. These are the what? Monounsaturated fatty acid. Now second type of the fatty acid which is most important from the health point of view, it is the polyunsaturated fatty acid. And this polyunsaturated fatty acid, they are consisting of what? Two or more double bonds. Okay. So two or more double bonds, that is the characteristic of what? The polyunsaturated fatty acid. The short form for them, it is the PUFA. Okay. And what are the examples? Linoleic, linolenic and arachidonic. These are the three main fatty acids which are also called as what? The polyunsaturated fatty acids or PUFA. Whenever we see so many advertisement on the TV or on any social media, we come to know that every time they are what? They are prescribing that so and so oil, it is rich in what? It is rich in PUFA. Okay. So this PUFA or polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are what? They are, you can say they are very much important from the health point of view. The oil or the fat or any sort of a lipid we are using, that should be rich in polyunsaturated fatty acid. Now there is one term which is always most important, and that term, it is the essential fatty acids. Now essential, the name itself suggests, what are the essential fatty acids? Those fatty acids which cannot be synthesized in the body, they must be present in our diet. So those fatty acids which must be present in our diet and the body cannot synthesize them, they are called as essential fatty acids. The rest of the fatty acids, body can synthesize them, and that's why they are called as what? Non-essential fatty acids. And these essential fatty acids, they are very much important for general health of a person. And what are the examples of these essential fatty acids? The linoleic, linolenic and the arachidonic. These are the three main essential fatty acids. And the deficiency of these essential fatty acids in the diet, that will produce the growth retardation. Okay. Now what is the importance of these essential fatty acids? These essential fatty acids, they are important for what? For the proper growth and health of a person. Now these essential fatty acids, they prolong the clotting time and they increase the fibrinolytic activity. So these essential fatty acids, they will what? They are important for growth and health. They will prolong the clotting time and they will increase the fibrinolytic activity. Now deficiency of these essential fatty acids in children and infants, that will produce the skin lesions like eczema. Okay. So they are very much essential for what? For the development of the children or for the development of the infants. Now these essential fatty acids, they are the precursors of the prostaglandins. Now prostaglandins, these are the local hormones which are found from what? The eicosanoids, means these are the type of eicosanoids, means they are found from the 20 carbon fatty acid, specifically the arachidonic acid. Okay. And these prostaglandins, we will come to know about these prostaglandins also. These are the local hormones. As they have been first derived from the prostate gland, they have been named as what? The prostaglandins. Okay. So prostaglandins, so essential fatty acids, they are what? They are the precursors of the prostaglandins. Now deficiency of this essential fatty acid, that will produce the fatty liver. Now fatty liver, it is one of the pathological condition which is associated with the lipids. Now these essential fatty acids, they lower the serum cholesterol level. What is bad from the health point of view? That is the deposition of a cholesterol that will lead to atherosclerosis. And these essential fatty acids, they lower the serum cholesterol level. So our diet, it must be rich in what? Polyunsaturated fatty acid. Now these essential fatty acids, they are also the structural elements of the mitochondrial membrane. These essential fatty acids, they are also involved in what? They are involved in reproduction. Now docosahexaenoic acid, it is abundant in what? In the retinal receptor membrane, and it is found from what? Linolenic acid in the diet. Now linoleic acid, it is essential for what? Optimal vision. Now deficiency of this essential fatty acid, that will produce the skin lesions, there will be a growth retardation, kidney damage and decreased resistance to the stress, and as well as there will be a occurrence of a pathological condition, that is the fatty liver. So this was about what? What are the essential fatty acids? What are the names of the essential fatty acids? Again, these essential fatty acids, another name I have told it to you, that is the unsaturated fatty acids. Again, we have subclassified them into what? Monounsaturated fatty acid and polyunsaturated fatty acid. Monounsaturated fatty acids, they are consisting of what? They are consisting of the single double bond. Whereas the polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are consisting of what? More than one double bond. And these polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are most essential one. They are also the essential fatty acids as they cannot be synthesized in the body. And deficiency of these essential fatty acid that can produce certain health problems, specifically the fatty liver, then you can say the skin lesions, then they are involved in the reproduction for the optimal vision, etc. So there are so many, you can say, important points attributed to the what? The essential fatty acid. Now we have classified the fatty acids broadly into only two types, okay? Saturated and unsaturated. We can classify the fatty acid in by different way also. So the fatty acids, they are the carboxylic acids with hydrocarbon chain, and they will be represented by what? RC double bond OH, that is the carboxylic group. It is the functional group of what? Of the fatty acid. Now these fatty acids, they are antipathic in nature. What do you mean by antipathic? Means dual nature. They can act as a hydrophobic, they can act as a hydrophilic. Means both the properties that are there. So if both the property, hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Hydrophilic means water loving, hydrophobic means water repelling. So if both the properties that are there, the such property it is called as antipathic in nature. So these fatty acids, they are antipathic in nature. Each fatty acid, it will have hydrophilic, that is the carboxylic group, and hydrophobic, that is the hydrocarbon chain in their structure. And we can classify them into what? Straight chain fatty acid, branch chain fatty acid, then substituted fatty acid, and cyclic fatty acid. The example for branch chain fatty acid, it is the isobutyric acid. Substituted fatty acid, example, it will be a lactic acid or cerebronic acid, etc. Then cyclic fatty acid, hydrocarbonic acid. Now the straight chain fatty acid, again they can be subclassified into what? The saturated and the unsaturated. Saturated, again the even carbon fatty acid and odd carbon fatty acid. Even carbon fatty acid means they will be consisting of even carbon atom, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that. Okay. So what are the examples of even carbon fatty acid? Stearic acid, butyric acid. Odd chain fatty acid, the example is for the propionic acid. Now unsaturated fatty acid, just now I have told it to you that they are what? Monounsaturated fatty acid. The example is what? Oleic acid. Then the polyunsaturated fatty acid or polyenoic fatty acid, linoleic, linolenic and arachidonic. Docosahexaenoic acid, that is DHA. Now whenever you hear the advertisement of you can say some sort of a complaint or any sort of a, you can say, substance that is added to the what? To the milk, and they are claiming that they are rich. So you will find one word, that is DHA, that is written on them. So what is this DHA? It is the docosahexaenoic acid, and it is important for the development of the brain or development and the, you can say, the growth of a person. So specifically with the small children in the growing age, their diet, it must be rich in the DHA. Now what are the functions of this fatty acid? They serve as what? Building blocks of phospholipids and glycolipids. Okay, so they are the building blocks of what? The phospholipids and glycolipids. These antipathic molecules, they are important component of the biological membrane. We have studied, you might have studied the cell or cell structure. All of us, we are knowing the, you can say, the fluid mosaic model of a cell membrane. So these cell membrane, they are rich in what? They are rich in phospholipids. Okay. Then the fatty acid derivatives, they serve as what? The hormones, and the example is for the prostaglandin. They are the local hormones. And the fatty acid, they serve as a major fuel for most of the cells. So we have seen what are the derived lipids. In the derived lipids, first we have studied what? The triglycerides. What is the neutral fat? Then the types of triglyceride, characteristics of the triglycerides, that we have studied. Then we have seen what are the fatty acids. Okay, means in the derived lipids means what? The hydrolytic products of the, you can say, the simple and the compound lipids. So when they are the hydrolytic products of the simple and the compound lipids, the derived lipids, they will be fatty acids, or you can say steroids, then the cholecalciferol, then the cholesterol, etc. So in that, what is the most important form of, you can say, derived lipid? These are the fatty acids. So we have seen so many important points about the fatty acids. Okay. Now coming to the what? So the further, one more you can say, essential of the derived lipids, it is the steroids. Okay, all of you know, you have heard the word steroids. With the pandemic of a COVID, so many of us, we know that the steroids, it was the option for what? For the long-term treatment of what? Of the COVID. And with the prolonged use of steroids, so many of the COVID-19 patients later on, they suffer from what? They are suffering from the diabetes mellitus. So these steroids, the specific, you can say, characteristic feature of these steroids, that they are consisting of what? A ring that is called as a CPP ring. What do you mean by CPP ring? That is the cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin ring. Okay. So these steroids, they are consisting of a specific feature, that is, they are all consisting of the cyclopentanoperhydrophenanthrin ring or the CPP ring. Now these steroids, they may be classified as what? Sterols, bile acids, male sex hormones, female sex hormones, adrenal corticosteroids, vitamin D, saponins, cardiac glycosides, etc. Now whenever we say the athletes or the, you can say, players, they take the steroids during the competition. Okay. So why these steroids they are taken? Okay, why these steroids, or you can say they are taken? Because these steroids, they will increase the uptake of a glucose, uptake of a fatty acid, and uptake of fats, and they have the immunosuppressive effects on the bone exocrine secretion. They decrease the stress, and administration of these steroids, that increases the you can say extracellular fluid volume. When the extracellular fluid volume it is increased, there is an increase in the circulating blood volume and the urinary output. Okay, so this is the short idea for what? For the steroids. Now one more most important of what? It is the cholesterol. It is widely distributed in what? In all the cells of the body. It occurs as an animal fat. When we will study the metabolism of a lipid, we will study the cholesterol in detail, how it is synthesized in the body, what do you mean by atherosclerosis, what is a good cholesterol, what is a bad cholesterol, etc. So what is the chemical formula of this cholesterol? It is C27H45OH, and it is what? The normal blood level of this cholesterol, it is 150 to 230 milligram per cent. You must know the normal level of a cholesterol. And this cholesterol, it is abundant in the brain, in the nerve tissue, adrenal glands, and the egg yolk. Okay. Now this cholesterol, it is essential constituent of the cell, and it is not a bad substance. What is bad from the health point of view? The excess of a cholesterol, it is bad from the health point of view. This cholesterol, it increases the permeability of a cell and transport of a fat to the liver. It is in the form of a what? It is in the form of cholesterol ester. Now this cholesterol, it is mainly important for the formation of a bile acid, for the formation of the bile salt, for the formation of a vitamin D and corticosteroid hormones. So these cholesterol, it is what? It is the type of a derived lipid. It is not a bad substance. It is essential substance to the body. If it is not present in the diet, there will be endogenous synthesis of this cholesterol, it will take place. But from the health point of view, the good cholesterol, it is the high density lipoprotein, okay, and the low density lipoprotein, it is a bad cholesterol. In the lipoprotein, which is a combination of a lipid and protein, we have seen that chylomicrons, then very low density lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein and high density lipoprotein. So high density lipoprotein, it is a good cholesterol because it will cause the reverse transport of a cholesterol. Reverse transport of a cholesterol means what? It will transport the cholesterol from heart tissue to the liver so that it will get oxidized. Whereas LDL, it is a bad cholesterol. Why it is so? Because it will transport the cholesterol from liver to the peripheral tissue, specifically the heart tissue. So there will be a deposition of a cholesterol in the heart tissue, and that will lead to the condition, the pathological condition, that is atherosclerosis, which is one of the major risk factor for the heart diseases.